So here we are at Fresno State. And if you turn to the next slide, you will find our wonderful national park mountain waiting to welcome you. So this is us where we are in the heart of California. This will be your new home, surrounded by mountains and lakes. And our central location will easily take you to the rest of California's beaches and tourist areas for weekend exploration. Definitely unexpectedly affordable prices. And many of you choose Fresno State for some special reasons. But after you have joined us, you'll realize that we have many, many great qualities to help you succeed, especially a very vibrant student life and research opportunities. You have been hearing international media coverage about the US, and you might be wondering, if you come to Fresno State, how would it look like as a foreigner, as someone different from Americans? I just want to let you know that Fresno State values diversity and values international students. And I'm confident to let you know that valuing diversity is the core value of Fresno State. The words on this slide are collected from our campus community who have direct experience with Fresno State. And you can see this, it kind of like blur the principles of community at Fresno State. So coming to Fresno State, you are expecting the people to practice being respectful, kind, collaborative, and accountable. And this is the learning environment that will optimize your experience. Campus safety is the priority of our university, and we want our students to learn and grow in a safe environment. And you have information about how we want to make sure that you are safe and also you feel safe. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Muscat to talk about what we could expect our spring 2021 semester to look like. And Dr. Marshall, after Dr. Muscat's talk, feel free to add further comments.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's nice to see so many of you here with us, virtually, of course. For spring 2021, we will remain in remote instruction, which means that courses can be offered asynchronously, that they can be at any time. Many of them will be recorded. Most of the courses will be taught virtually. However, we do have an increase of the number of courses that will be taught face-to-face in the spring semester. You can see these courses there on our registrar's webpage. If you want, you can also email me and I will be happy to share that course list with you as well. If there are any questions or concerns, please also feel free to email me. Many of you have done already, and I'm very happy to be of assistance to you. In terms of our virtual instruction, our faculty have worked very hard since the beginning of COVID to take on additional professional development and additional training themselves to be able to learn the most cutting edge aspects of virtual education so that they can provide for you an excellent education just as they would if they were in the classroom. This is very important because we take education very seriously and we want to make sure that you have the quality education that you are known to expect from Fresno State. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muscat. Dr. Marshall, anything you would like to share with the graduate students?
Sure, special shout out to all the graduate students here today. Just like Dr. Muscat said, graduate education will be predominantly remote as well. And like was described, our faculty have been working very, very hard to incorporate some high-tech educational solutions that you'll be able to take advantage of. So the level of engagement and the level of interaction with your faculty will remain really high, even in a remote setting. So we look forward to having you involved with Fresno State, and welcome.
Thank you, Dr.
Dr. Lamb, I'd like to say one more thing before we move. I want to make sure that students also know that our various resources for supplemental instruction, writing labs, tutoring, all of those things will remain available to students to help them with their learning and to ensure that they have success while they're here. So not to fear, these things are available to you virtually, as well as our academic advising and our career services, as well as mental health and support groups and those types of things. So anything that you would need that you would be able to get on a campus, you will be able to get virtually as well. And we highly recommend that you take advantage of these resources so that you do well, because your success is so important to us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Muscat. The great thing about us is we have a lot of services for you all. The important thing is for you to reach out to get it, and we are here for you. And many students have concern about, like, if I enroll online, like there are a lot of different requirements and all that you're not sure if you feel confident to succeed in those. You know that the first week of the instructor will give you a syllabus, and this is the for in some countries when it is very overall general, but the course requirements is very much in detail. And so basically you have a chance to communicate with your instructor to make sure you feel confident that you can succeed and you can move on. And if that's concern about, this may not be the right one for me, you have the time to drop the course, but just to make sure that you meet the refund policy timeline so that you won't have like financial burden because of the dropping of the course. And the next line, we will talk about how to enroll and registration piece. Danny is prepared to talk to you about. I would like to have Ms. Kathy Dunbar. If you have anything to add after Danny, please feel free to do so.
Thank you, Dr. Lan.
Danny?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Lan. Hi, everybody. You can see on the screenshot, you can see the step-by-step guideline also to help you to enroll. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. The first thing you need to do is to go to my.fresnostate.edu. Some of you already email me and tell me that they are not able to log in to their student portal. And so the things I've been telling all of you is that if you have any login issues, again, go to this website, my.fresnostate.edu. Right away, you will see a link that you will be able to report your issue. And our IT department will get back to you within 3 to 5 business days, okay? So it's very important that you get to log in first. Then you'll be able to do the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about right now. So once you log in, and then you choose Student Self-Service option in the menu as shown. And then your name and your student ID should be appear at the top of the page. Okay, and then choose Student Center. Choose Class Search, Student Center, Class Search. And under the My Academic Record and Registration, as shown, your academic advisor and other advisor appear where number 1 is located, right here. Okay, you can see your academic advisor, their name, everything here. And then you'll have other important information appear where number 2 is located. Okay, other important information right here. Where the third arrow You can see right here under the third arrow. And then type the subject you are looking for. Okay, for example, chemistry, then you type CHEM. Biology, you type BIO, or criminology, you type CRIM. Or just simply search the subjects by clicking on select subjects. And there are additional search criteria that you want to look at it, and please click on this link. And then again, we will save this video and this recording, and then for you to later on can look at this link right away, and we'll also send you through email as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. And Kathy, do you have anything to add when it comes to registration and enrollment piece?
Thank you, Dr. Lam. Yes, and the information I have to share is primarily for the undergraduate students. As the graduate students, they'll talk to their program coordinators, but for the undergraduate students that are on this call, we're super excited to be able to assist you here. Thank you for the opportunity. We love having international students. It adds so much richness to the campus, and we look forward to the time when you all can come back and be with us. So for the undergraduate students, when you go to register for classes, I don't know if there's a screenshot, but there's a helpful tool to look for courses that are general education. There's an additional search criteria. So when you're searching for classes, there's an additional search criteria that will help you then look for the attribute of general education and the attribute value of the various general education areas. So in the Fresno State catalog and also on our website, there's a list of the general education requirements. So my overall general thought for everyone is to mix general education with major courses. You primarily don't want to focus only on major and then your GE weights. You don't necessarily want to only do GE because some of it is specific to your major as well. So it's very important to combine your general education along with your major courses. And I see some questions in the chat. I'll let somebody else answer the quarantine question. I'm not sure. And
Well,
how can I know that? Yeah. So there's a couple questions in the chat that I'll let somebody else answer because I don't know the answers to those.
Yes, we are seeing a lot of questions building up. Thank you so much because we right after our presentation we have a session. So go through the questions being posted on the chat. And thank you so much, Kathy, for reminding us undergraduate students to understand their whole roadmap in the catalog to integrate general education with their major courses. And also, Kathy, remind us that if you are graduate students, you will work with your graduate coordinator or your graduate advisor in your department, and they will advise you on the best courses to enroll for the first semester.
And as an undergraduate student, you have multiple advisors. You have the expertise in the International Student Service Office, and there's also advisors in the major college advising centers. So depending on your major, you'll have an advising center that specializes with your majors to help create that roadmap. And there's a question about once you enroll, how long do you have to drop your classes? So up until the day before classes start, you can drop, and I do believe there may not be fees accrued at that point, but once the semester begins, fees are accrued. So the longer you remain enrolled, the more money you've invested. But there are stated add drop deadlines on the registrar's website. So you just go to fresnostate.edu/registrar. There's so much information to be able to share. And then spring term, the classes start in January. I believe it's the 17th, but I will confirm that. And it will be listed on the courses when you look to see when they actually start. So.
And Before we move on, I would strongly advise all students to read your email from international office. We'll continue to provide you with reminders and also clarification. So we are with you. But because just like what Kathy said, there's so many parts and so much information, but we will be working with you on this process. So we already received a lot of questions about entering the US, the spring open and quarantine. It is pertaining to physically coming to the US. So I would like to turn the time to Jasmine, our international advisor.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lan. Thank you everybody to be here. So glad to see you. We're really glad to see your passion and patience with us. And the geological distance cannot distance us. So very glad to see you. We're gonna talk a little bit about immigration piece here today. So for new F1 international students, up to today, SEVP, so SEVP means Student and Exchange Visiting Program, has not released guidance yet, actually, for spring 2021. But if spring 2021 SEVP guidance remains the same as the SEVP guidance that's issued right now, that applied right now for fall 2020 semester, a new F1 student may enter the US, first step. Second, and maintain legal F1 status by taking full-time course load with, okay, very important, with at least one in-person face-to-face class in their first semester in the US. For those of you who do not have a US visa yet, or for those of you who wish to not arrive in the US in spring 2021, you may enroll in either part-time or full-time online classes from your own home country in spring 2021. So the benefit of enrolling classes in your home country, if you're deciding not to come in spring 2021 physically, is that Fresno State online classes that you take in your home country will count towards your degree at Fresno State. At the same time, please note that your class enrollment will actually not count towards your CVIS record as international student until you start to enroll for classes physically in the US. If you choose to come to on campus in fall 2021, so next fall, your I20 start date will be deferred from January 2021 to August 2021. And so we can touch a little bit on specifically about what in-person class is. For those of you who plan to arrive on campus in spring 2021 physically, information here on this slide will be very important to you. I'm going to read to you the specific SCVP guidance so you have an idea of what original regulatory language here is and why the one-on-one, the one in-person class is required. So the SCVP guidance says F1 students in new or initial status after March 9, 2020 will not be able to enter the US to enroll US school as a non-immigrant status students for the fall term to pursue full course load. That is 100% online. So has to be at least one in-person class. So following this guidance, to smoothen your entry to the US and your legal status, if you're an undergraduate student, you can either enroll in an in-person class that we call University 1. This class is designed for international students and will fulfill the general education requirement towards your graduation, degree graduation. There's another option is that the university provides a list of in-person class. You can choose any one of those classes to fulfill the one in-person class requirement. For graduate students, we're working with your colleges to have an in-person component in at least one of your full-time classes. So if you, myself, Jasmine Cao, will be specifically assisting you with the in-person class enrollment requirement and process. And we will also send you a follow-up email with more details today after this webinar. And we can go to next slide about transfer students. So regarding to transfer students, if you were enrolled full-time in the US during this current semester, for example, you were enrolled at another college, and you were enrolled in a high school or English program, and you have been admitted to Fresno State for academic program for spring 2021, you will be eligible to continue enroll online instruction in the US in the spring 21 semester and maintain your F1 student status without the in-person class enrollment. So if you continue stay in the US, you don't have to take that in-person class to maintain your status. However, if you leave the US and re-enter spring 2021 as your first semester at Fresno State, the re-entry to the US will then make you subject to the in-person class requirement. So these are the requirements for the transfer student. We can, yeah, next slide. I would love to have my colleague Danny to introduce the tuition fee for you.
Thank you, Jasmine. And this is the tuition fees that everybody wants to know how it is calculated. And you can see at the top of the table, it is the resident tuition fees. We are assessed as F1 international students. We are assessed for non-resident tuition. Okay, so basically the non-resident tuition fee is the difference between the in-state and the out-of-state tuition fee. And you can see right here, this is how we calculate it. And you can see the sample of how the tuition is accumulated, okay? And of course, we are not going through all the details right here. You can look at yourself. For undergrad, as Jasmine mentioned earlier, to maintain as an F1 student, if you are in the United States, you will have to take a full-time load, which is minimum for undergrad is 12 credit hours, 12 units, or 9 credit hours, we'll call 9 units for graduate student. And of course, if you are enrolled online overseas in your home country, for example, and you are not required to enroll in full-time status, you can enroll part-time, okay, which is under 12 or under 9. Okay, next. Okay, so for this one, we have so many options. Some students really ask me, how can we pay the tuition? Do I have to pay tomorrow? My answer is that working at Fresno State, I realized Fresno State is one of the most friendly universities that in terms of paying the tuitions and fees. We are very flexible, helping the students the best we can, that students are not required to pay immediately, okay? And these are the options that you have that you can pay your tuition. And a lot of students, if they have a checking account in the United States, they can go ahead and pay the e-payment going through the Fresno State, your My Fresno State portal. The other way many students are using it is the international transfer. Okay, for this one, your bank will maybe charge you a little fee, but from Fresno State or Western Union, the fee is 0. Okay, so from our end, we don't charge anything, but from your end of the bank, your bank institutions might charge you a little fee. It depends. And the other ones are pretty self-taught. And of course, many students pay in person as well. But now our cashier probably will not be open as we used to, so they might help the students, but the easiest way is to pay online. Okay, And one thing I want to remind you that this happened in the past, and we want to make sure that this doesn't happen as often, is that if you decide to enroll for classes and later on you feel like, okay, you know what, I'm going to change my mind, I will not take classes this spring semester, spring 2021. I will want to defer to fall 2021. In this case, if you already enrolled for spring 2021, please remember to go to your portal, your My Fresno State portal, and drop all your classes. Because if you do not drop it, you will be responsible of paying thousands of tuition fee, which you don't want to do that, okay? And so please do remember to drop those classes. And then later on, when the time is ready, and you can enroll for the fall semester. And we will talk about fall deferrals in a later slide. And so just hold on to this, and then this is very important. So drop your classes if you decide not to take it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the I20 delivery. So thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny. And after we receive the financial documents from you as admitted students, we will issue you your I20. And during COVID-19, it's permitted by SCDP guidance and agreed by the US Port of Entry and the US embassies as well, that the I20s can be signed and sent electronically. And this will still bear the same validity as wet ink, signed and mailed hard copy I20. Therefore, you have options to receive your I20 either through email or through hard copy delivery. For hard copy delivery, you may choose self-paid shipping or free regular mail upon your request. So that's I20 delivery. And we can talk a little bit next slide about travel ban. So many of you probably have heard about COVID-19 related travel bans that limits entry to the US for foreign nationals, including F1 students, who physically present in the countries that are listed below, okay, 14 days prior to entry to the US. The government guidance is updating very frequently surrounding this evolving situation. The most recent updates as of today is that the 5 issued travel bans are still effective, which involves Iran, China, Brazil, Schengen area, the UK, and Ireland. But a very positive update on October 1st is that students traveling from Schengen area, UK, and Ireland with a valid F1 visa may be able to enter the US without the 14 days restriction. And their visa applicants also, if they are otherwise qualified for F1 visa, they will automatically be considered for a national interest exemption to travel to the US. So those are positive update. And also the San Francisco, there's 2 in the previous slide. Yeah, there's 2 airports, the San Francisco International and Los Angeles International Airports are the 2 airports that's designated for international arrivals. Thank you. Yep. Next slide. A little bit about visa interview update. So like SCDP guidance and COVID-19 travel bans, the visa interview availability is also evolving rapidly. A good news is that the routine visa services has resumed in July 2020, so back in the summer, after a worldwide visa service suspension started in March 2020. Although, however, the resumption of routine visa services will occur on an embassy by embassy base, depends on the health safety condition in the area. You will find both the general visa updates and the visa interview wait time in a specific city on the Department of State official website. We will send you the link after this webinar as well. I'd also like to bring up some points that may be useful to you as a general information. First, the wait time for an F1 or J1 student is generally much shorter than the wait time for a B1 or B2 visitor applicant. Second, the expedite visa interviews is routinely offered for F1 J1 students upon request for compelling reasons. Number three, although COVID-19, everything goes online, but no video interview is planned at this time in replacement of in-person interview. So you still have to go there in person. The final one, the visa fee is valid to make an appointment 1 year from the date of your initial visa fee payment. Thank you. We can go next slide. Okay, next slide is about OPT, CPT, work eligibility. As you may know, the CPT means curricular practical training and the OPT means optional practical training. These two are the most major work authorizations for F1 international students. 1 academic year of full-time enrollment needs to be fulfilled before international students are eligible to apply for CPT and OPT internship. Because your CBIS record as F1 international students will not start until you begin to enroll full-time classes physically in the US, as mentioned in the previous slides. Your 1 year enrollment requirement before applying CPT or OPT will start to accrue only after you're physically in the US and taking full-time classes for a year. That's the update about CPT and OPT. I'll pass it to the next slide.
Good morning, I'm Jamie Jones and I'm the Coordinator of International Student Services. And I just want to take this opportunity to kind of remind you guys that there is a plethora of great information available on our website. And you can see here that we are highlighting the newly admitted student section, particularly our checklist, which has a few things to remind you guys of items that you want to complete before school starts. Everything from how to register for classes to all your different payment options to different contacts that might be of use and online pre-orientations that need to be completed. So definitely check out our website if you have not already. Click on that newly admitted tab and check out all of the great resources and advice and checklist that we hope that you guys will take a look at and complete before classes start. Because believe me, we'll be checking in on you guys. So also very exciting, next week happens to be International Education Week across the United States. It's technically an annual event that universities all across the United States celebrate. We celebrate the importance of international education and exchange and diversity and all of the benefits that international education brings to our campuses. So this year's theme on our campus is called Bridging the Distance, because everybody is everywhere studying and continuing their great studies here at Fresno State. And we wanted to invite you particularly, as we know a lot of you guys have questions about your OPT or CPT, which is your internship opportunities or working after you graduate. We are actually doing an international student panel that is basically kind of sharing the fact that students, even during COVID, are still finding employment opportunities, are still doing their OPT, and being able to continue on in that experience, even during this pandemic and this unprecedented time. So people are still working, so please feel free to join us. Again, all of this information is available on our website under Events and International Education Week and all the Zoom links. As well as this PowerPoint being available later. But we hope you guys will join us if you guys have questions or want to see what great things some of our graduates are doing, even during the pandemic.
Danny, you're on mute.
Well, thank you, Jamie. I was in mute. this is a big one, and some of you really asked me questions about the possibility of defer the admission to fall 2021. And of course, due to various reasons, and you may do that, and our team will work with you individually based on your situation and your major, and of course, the level as well. And from now to the first week of January, again, from now to the first week of January, you have a lot of time to either enroll virtually overseas from your home country or come in person on campus, okay? And then after the first week, which is about January 5th, I will send this Google Form survey to you to fill out, okay? And asking you whether, what is your option? Do you want to enroll online virtually for spring 2021, or you will defer your admission to fall 2021. And then this Google form will also be posted on our international admission website. Thank you. Okay, so the next person.
Thank you, Danny. Just want to let you know, you can see from the news that there are many concerns about COVID-19. And I just want to let you know that on our website, Fresno State website, we have a specific section. If you look at the orange striped area, virtual learning will continue through the summer 2020 term. Click here for the latest information about COVID-19. So if you click here, you will get all the updates about the situation in the US and also the situation in Fresno. And also there are a lot of questions in the chats about the health practice protocol when you come to Fresno State. And this is where the information will come from. But we'll be happy to address specific questions that you may have. I would like to move on before we go to this video. I would like to call upon our American English Institute co-director who to talk about conditional admission for ESL studies. I would like to have Alyssa and Oliver to talk to us.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb. So for those of you, you already know conditional admission means that you've been accepted to Fresno State. The only thing you have to do is get your English proficiency score. So that's one of the things that we're here to help with, is to help you get that English proficiency. So there's two options basically. You can have your in person, so you can come here still, because we will be having an in-person component for our classes. So if you accept your conditional admission and you'd like to begin your studies in the United States, you can still do that even if you're conditionally admitted, because we will have an in-person component. The other option is you can begin your classes online. So we currently have most of our classes online, and we plan to continue those throughout, I believe, the summer and fall. So you can begin your studies with us online from the comfort of your own home. So it's a virtual learning environment, so you're still going to have to show up, and you'll be interacting with people and Americans and getting to know Fresno State students and all that fun stuff. So that's another option. So if you're interested in studying with the AEI, please visit our website or send us an email. The number one thing you should do is fill out an application. So again, you can either visit the website or email us directly, and we'll be happy to help you with the rest of the steps. It's just really important that you let us know directly that you're interested in ESL classes. We're a little bit different from the university, so you have to contact us directly. Oliver, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, you covered everything really well, Alyssa.
Thank you both. Yes, happy Diwali day. I understand that you all are very serious, making a lot of plans, like a lot of details, but I just want to like turn our heart into something festive. And I just want to let you know that at Fresno State, we celebrate the important time, festival, event, National Day of our international student. And I just want the lights to be shining on every one of you here in this Zoom meeting, and for everyone in attendance. We do have a video to pick you up at the end of the whole Zoom meeting. But before we do so, I just want to start with the questions, because I know a lot of questions are being posted on the chat. So we are going to stop recording so that you feel more comfortable with